A better round of applause, please. You're most welcome to SM Fest 2021. This is a special panel session, and I'm very sure the most important part of this session is the fact that she raised $68,000 from nothing. Who wants to find out how? More importantly, who needs a part of the $68,000? You're welcome, Ms. Aramide.
Thank you.
You are obviously Yoruba.
Definitely.
And this is 90% Igbo. How do you introduce yourself to this crowd?
Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm excited to be here. My name is Aramide Kayode, and yes, I'm Yoruba. I'm proud of it, but I'm more excited to meet people from a different culture, and it is obviously a very nice place to be. So I work as the founder of Talent Mine, where I ensure that children in low-income communities have access to quality education and better opportunities. But much more than that, I also design learning experiences for people that want to transition into the tech space. So I understand that when you know something, or the difference between someone that is doing something amazing and someone that hasn't figured out anything, is that that person knows something that the other person doesn't know. And once I can help people learn and make learning interactive and engaging for people, then they'll be able to learn, and then they'll be able to transform their lives through learning. So that's what I do. I hope you have been able to meet me with this.
$68,000 right now is about 38 million naira. That's like my net worth in 4 years' time. Okay, in 4 weeks' time. Yeah. So how did you raise my net worth in 4 weeks, in 3 weeks, please?
I can't talk about the story without mentioning God and how faithful He is to me. And so I remember getting my Harvard admission letter, and I was thinking that because it was Harvard, the best school in the world, I was going to get full funding for my master's program. And so, that was why I had the guts to apply in the first place. But out of $68,000 of my fees, they gave me $19,000 scholarship, and I had to find the remaining one. And I had 4 weeks to pay my school fees. If not, I was going to forfeit my admission. And, initially I thought, okay, what can I do? I'd applied for scholarships, and they were not forthcoming. And at a point, I'm like, okay, I am going to crowdfund my tuition. And when I was about to raise my tuition, like when I was about to say, okay, let's open GoFundMe and let's get this done, that was when the pandemic broke out. And it was going to be very insensitive to fundraise when there's a global health crisis. And so I had 4 weeks, remember. So I said, okay, what I'm going to do is this. I believe that God loves me, and I trust God to take care of me. So I took 1 week out of the 4 weeks, and I prayed about it. And I said, God, what should I do? I want to go to Harvard. Like, who doesn't want to? And I have to go there just so that I can improve the quality of the work that I do. So I took out 1 week, I prayed about it. I got a strong conviction in my heart that I should start the fundraiser. And so I opened up my GoFundMe and definitely leveraged social media. And that was how I was able to raise my fees. And I raised these fees in 3 weeks. And I remember on a Saturday, so the fundraiser was going to end on Friday. I was supposed to pay my fees on Friday, so I needed the money to be done on Friday. And the Saturday before that week, Friday, I just had $18,000. And so I still needed $50,000 more. And I remember a particular lady, I'm sure everybody will know her here, Adiola Fayeo. She pushed my story on her YouTube page. And from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and by Thursday morning, I already had the extra $50,000 that I needed just because of social media and the power that it carries. So That was how I was able to raise my fees.
Who needs school fees here? Who needs school fees here? Make sure God loves you.
God loves everybody.
That was the first point you gave, no?
Yeah,
you
God
were
loves
sure
everybody.
God loves you. Please make sure God loves you before you try this type of risk. Meanwhile, do you think innovations in technological finance helped you? Like which of them, digital finance, did you use? Which of them specifically?
I used GoFundMe.
GoFundMe?
Yes.
The one they use for Big Brother stars?
I don't know. I don't know what they've used it for, but I use GoFundMe.
How exactly do you think this crowdfunding helped you? What are the challenges exactly?
So I think that the major challenge I faced, I wouldn't like to say is a challenge, basically. I like to think about it as a propeller. So when I started, it was insane. So people said, oh, you went to community university. So because you went to community university, your parents should be able to fund this. Why are you looking for money? And if we take out $8,000 and send just you to school, why can't we take that money and spread it across thousands of other people? And so for me, I just thought about it as an investment, right? And with the work I was doing, it was definitely an investment. But a lot of people didn't understand my vision. So I knew that what I had to do was, the reason why they're saying what they're saying is because they can't see what I'm seeing. And once I'm able to communicate my vision and communicate my story in a way that is compelling, they'll be able to see that this is an investment. And for the average Nigerian child that cannot access quality education, if you invest in me to go to school, I'll be able to do more. But I already had some work that I was doing. And so the major challenge was just people didn't understand the vision. And the way I was able to solve that was just telling my story and sharing the vision and say that this is what I've been able to do. So I didn't just come and say, oh, send me to school. I already had a track record, and I told that story. And as people kept seeing it, they kept sharing. People started creating posts. And before I knew it, like we had people who were creating teams, like they were opening their own teams that we want to send Aramide to school. So it became like a big thing. And that was because I said, okay, in spite of what people are saying, I know what I want. And so once I'm able to just share, this is why I want to get this thing, then people started saying it. And the power of social media is this. One like on Twitter, it goes to every other person's followers. One share on your story, it goes to everybody that looks at your story. One like, one comment on LinkedIn, it goes to every single one of your connection. And that was how I was able to solve the challenge that I faced. So the major challenge was people didn't understand me. And as soon as I communicated my why, as soon as I communicated what I was seeing because of the work that I was doing, that was solved.
So what you're trying to say is that Twitter was the major tool for this?
I won't say it was just Twitter. It was everywhere. Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram. And Twitter was almost so good because as people were leaving their bad comments and trying to troll it, as you retweet and leave your bad comment, someone else is seeing that somebody is doing a fundraiser, and maybe that person is not seeing it in the wrong way that you're seeing it. So even the bad voices were just increasing the visibility.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how active were you on these platforms before you did this?
I was active. I've always been active. My work is basically, in the social space, and I share my story a whole lot. And so people already knew what I was doing. So it was not like I came from the blues and I was suddenly looking for my school fees. No, people already knew that this is what Aramide was doing. People already seen the track record of what I was doing. They had already seen the lives of children that could never have seen the four walls of a school, getting access to fully funded quality education. People had already been seeing that, and that was why they were able to believe me during my fundraiser.
So what you're trying to tell me now is that Twitter, Instagram, Facebook can do more than just posting. It can raise money.
Yeah, it can. I won't say it can raise money, but it can do a lot. It can change a lot. Just one story. There's a power in telling one story, and your story. And just because you didn't go from, so initially when I wanted to start sharing my story, it was almost like everybody had a grass to grace story and say, oh, I suffered, I was battered, I slept under the bridge. But I've never slept under the bridge. I was always dreaming, I was always dreaming around. My parents didn't really allow me jump bus, we lived in an estate and all of that. So you don't have to have like a grass to grace story of I suffered. Just share the story the way it's real to you. And everybody has their own challenges. I have challenges I faced. You have challenges you face. And if you can just be bold and courageous enough to share it, then the people who have gone through that challenge and they can't say anything because nobody is talking about it, can find hope, can find strength, can find inspiration in your story. And so that's it, honestly.
Are you in any way trying to tell me that, because I wanted to ask you, what exactly do you think people bought that made them donate?
That made them donate my fundraiser.
Is it that God loves you, or you wanted to go to school, or what exactly do you think was that specific factor that made people to accept your story and donate to you?
Okay, so before I got my admission to Harvard, I had taught for 2 years. I graduated from Coventry University with a first class 2018, and I had a full master's scholarship in Coventry University, and I also had a finance role waiting for me. But at that time, I heard about the Kaduna teachers that wrote a Basic 4 test, and out of the 3,000 of them that wrote the test, 21,780 of them failed the test woefully. And it was disheartening for me. But much more than that, one day when I was taking a walk on the road, I met some children on the road, and they couldn't be in school. And at the time, the public school fees was 1,200, and these children could not be in school. And so I decided I was going to teach. So I heard about the Teach for Nigeria Fellowship, where they post young graduates to low-income communities. And I went there, and I taught for 2 years in Ota. So I left the comfort of my parents' home in Lagos, and I went to a village where I had some days influx of rats, mosquitoes, cats, and weird animals, just to teach children in low-income communities, because I believe that when everybody have access to quality education, then the way we think will be transformed. And that's the key to Africa development. When we have access to quality education, just when you know something, when you're not ignorant, you want to behave the same way somebody that has never been to school behaves. There will be a difference between the both of you. And that's what I believe in. And I decided to follow that. So I had done that for 2 years. And, even a year before, I was volunteering and working with children too. So people had seen me in that light. People knew that she was not this girl that was coming out to say, oh, just come and support my Harvard and go back into, whatever. But they knew that this girl has already been sold to the vision, and she had even made sacrifices for the vision. So people saw a visionary more than just a young girl or just a silly young girl trying to raise funds. They saw someone that had a compelling vision, and they chose to invest in that.
A round of applause, please. From Harvard to marriage, you made us believe you wanted to go to school. Mm-hmm. You went to school. Now you're married. Mm-hmm. You didn't tell us this part.
Okay. Are you supposed to announce your marriage?
No, I'm just saying, how did you move from Harvard to marriage?
So I actually wanted to get married before my master's program. There was the opportunity to get married for my master's program. But right from when I was a child, I always knew that education was important. And not because if I'd gotten married, it would have affected it, no. Not because of that, but because I knew, or basically I had some people who I saw where after school they say, oh, I want to get my master's, and they get married and suddenly they just fall pregnant. And I didn't want to. And so I had it right from time that I was going to get master's before Mrs. And I'd always been telling my husband, like before we got married, the master's before Mrs., master's before Mrs. And so immediately I got my master's. I graduated from Harvard in May. I got married in June.
Turn to your neighbor and say, master's before marriage. That's if you agree. Oh. To be sincere, if you're going to be sincere to all of us here, without social media, how much do you think you would have raised?
I don't think I would have raised anything because even if I say, oh, I trust God and God will supply my needs, God always uses people. I did not wake up one day and found a bag of dollars in my room. No, it was people, human beings. And how do you reach them? Everybody is on social media. And so when I even took a look at the track record of my GoFundMe, I started to see people that donated $5, $10, $15, $20. So as little as that, right, from just different people all around the world. And I don't think, like, without people, there's just such a limit that you can go, right? So you always, always need people, and everybody is on social media. So if you want people, just go online, you'll find.
Just to round up, I made a post about this event, and someone said, is that Aramide? I follow Sendam Go School. Oh.
What did you say?
I follow Sendam Go School.
You what? Okay, I heard you.
I say, how do you mean? Say, I sent her 7,000 naira.
Yeah, that goes a long way.
I brought this because I want to ask. There are 1,000 more people like this. How do you treat such people?
How do I treat such people?
Because everybody claims they sent you to school.
Okay, they sent me to school. Nobody has actually come to tell me that before.
You don't see it anywhere?
I've never seen it before, that I sent you to school. This is the first time I'm actually hearing it.
Okay. So finally...
Honestly, I'm actually being very honest.
Finally, is there a special time, day, month, or year you think crowdfunding works best? So we can try it.
I don't know. I don't know. I shall know that it was God that helped me, and people came through for me too, and I'm very grateful for that.
My final question is a personal question. Out of the $68,000, wait now. It's a two-in-one question. First of all, did you use all of them?
To pay my fees.
I don't know what you used it for. Did you use
I
all
use
of
it to fund my tuition.
So nothing is remaining? Tell me the truth. Wait now. Tell me, it's between two of us. You can remove the mic. Is it remaining?
So I use my tuition to fund my tuition, nothing else.
On that note, we have come to the end of this panel session. Thank you very much, Aramide.
Thank you.
It was nice having you.
Thank you. You too. All right. Thank you so much, everybody.